Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 267. A huge show. Also, the final podcast I'll be doing in my 30s, as I'm not having a real existential crisis about that, but I am really just throwing if my hair looks wet, it's because I did more triathlon training this morning, as I've just decided to throw myself in full feet first, head first, I'm not sure, into that to maybe distract me from the fact that I'm about to be 40 years old, but such is life. Damonza's here. We have a show with enough topics for 2 days worth of shows, so let's get right into it. Here's what missed the cut. There were 2 Monday Night Football games last night. We don't blame you if you missed one of them. The Titans demolished the Dolphins. Also, 2 legends in sport pass away yesterday. Dikembe Mutombo, one of the greatest defensive players in basketball history and one of the league's greatest humanitarians, passes away. And Pete Rose, the all-time hit king and obviously a controversial figure in sports and the subject of maybe the longest-standing sports radio debate segment in history, which is, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? They both passed away. Thoughts and prayers, if you're the prayerful type, to their families and loved ones. And speaking of baseball, for the first time since, I'm trying to think about if this is accurate. I think the Royals, I think we were a day away from me going my entire 30s without the Royals making the playoffs. Well, no, that's not true, because they won the World Series when I was 31, but almost. Damn close to it. So it was 10 years ago they made the playoffs. They make it again. Wow. That game. Like sooner. Yeah, that, by the way, Damonza, is that Royals game, first pitch is at 4 o'clock. My TV show does not end until 5 o'clock. So that means 2 things. One is, today's not this week, really, sadly, not going to be what we call a ratings bonanza on television, when we are going to every single day be up against live playoff baseball. That's a bit of a bummer. But the other thing is this. Second hour of the show, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be flat distracted. If you see me glancing down, I'm probably not looking at my notes. I'm going to be looking at the little, how the Royals doing. Because if they win, Damonza, they play the Yankees, which means I could go to a bunch of those games. Yeah. And I think they're going to beat the Orioles.
Baseball 7-game series still? 7?
No, eventually 7. Wild card round, best of 3, all in Baltimore. So 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. Divisional round, best of 5. The AL and NLCS, the third round, essentially, best of 7, and World Series, of course, best of 7. So, yeah, back before I was born, Damonza, it was just the World Series. There'd be the regular season. Whoever wins each league plays in the World Series. Yeah, wow. That's it. It was just one 7-game series.
Straight to it.
Then,
love it.
Right, but that was before I was born. Then they added the championship series, where it was the 2 best teams in each league, the American and National League, play a best of 7 to get to the World Series. And then in my lifetime, they added the wild card, which was very controversial at the time, and people didn't like it. And then they have since added more wild card teams to it. But baseball forever, the playoffs was just the World Series. And then for a long time, the playoffs was just the 4 teams, that the best 2 in each league. And then for the majority of my life, it was 6 teams. For the majority of my life, it was 8 teams. And now it's expanded all the way to 12 teams. All right, there's your baseball coverage. I think that might be our first baseball coverage of the year. The playoffs start today. All right, let's get to football. Go ahead.
So you predicted the Ravens were going to take care of business versus the Bills, but said that you thought that it'd be obvious that Kansas City was still the number 1 team in the league. But now Kansas City might be
Yeah.
down their top 3 weapons with Rasheed Rice going down to that Mahomes hit. With signs of the cracks starting to show, do you think it's time for everybody else to get a leg up on the Chiefs? Just now to get them. Is this the time to get them?
So I don't see another team that right now, even without Rasheed. And by the way, little birdie told me might not be a torn ACL. The fact that we're now to Tuesday morning and they still don't know, and it's legitimate they don't know, there is what I would call a glimmer, more than a glimmer, some amount of hope that this is not a season-ending injury for Rasheed. It still could be, but the ACL tear is usually pretty straightforward and they know it. Now, it still could be that, but the fact that they don't know it definitively yet means there is some level of, optimism is too strong of a word, holding out some hope that maybe he comes back at some point this year. But listen, the Chiefs right now are without the guys they projected to be their number 1 and number 2 receivers to start the year, Rasheed Rice and Hollywood Brown, their number 1 running back. Kelsey, everyone in the sports world was telling me was washed and distracted and out of shape. I didn't buy it. And they've benched their starting left tackle, and Mahomes isn't playing his best ball. And they're 4-0 in the Super Bowl favorites. So here's what I'm going to say on the Chiefs side, then we'll get to the Bills-Ravens piece of it. Right now, the Chiefs running back room is as follows. A guy that the Cleveland Browns, who stink, didn't want anymore in Kareem Hunt. A guy who the Denver Broncos, who stink, cut outright a month ago in Samaje Perine. And an undrafted kid in Carson Steele, who, God love him, but his own family, they scheduled a wedding for Sunday in the fall while he was a senior in college, so they didn't exactly think he had big NFL plans. That's the running back room. The receiver room is a rookie who weighs 165 pounds, a guy in McCole Hardman who the Jets didn't want anymore, a guy in Juju Smith-Schuster who the Patriots didn't want anymore, and Justin Watson, a fifth-year guy from Penn. That's the receiver room. And the tight end room has the oldest skill position player in the league, Travis Kelce. I say that to say this. If Patrick Mahomes wills a top 10 offense out of that group and en route to finishing off the first three-peat in NFL history, grand opening, grand closing of the GOAT debate. Throw your 7 rings in the trash, argument away. Don't want to hear it. If they pull off a three-peat under these circumstances, and in the guy's first 7 years, it's 4 rings, 2 MVPs, with Tyreek, without Tyreek, with high-flying offenses, without it, that's the best football player we've ever seen. Can they do it? Right now, they're the best team. And right now, they're the best team despite their offensive struggles, because the defense has just gotten better and better and better. Since the defense started being a legitimate weapon for the Chiefs in late 2022, the Chiefs are 25-0 when Patrick Mahomes has a quarterback rating of at least 80. 80 is not good. That Bengals game in week 2 that I said might be the worst game he'd ever played, his quarterback rating was 80.6. So as long as they're 1-6 when Mahomes plays dreadful and 25-0 if the passer rating is 80 or above, that's going to be a very difficult team to beat. Now to Baltimore Buffalo. That game, I don't know why, and I couldn't explain it. And I was glad you didn't include Buffalo in your tease. By the way, we buried the lead. I know Thursday's the gambling show, but a tease winner. And by the way, no asterisks applied because the Chiefs side, you were like, I don't know which side I want to do on that, the plus 14 or the pick'em. Either one would have won.
Either one.
Whichever one you would have gone with. You ended up going with the Chiefs pick'em.
And I don't think the line ever
but
moved.
Either one would have won.
Like, and if it did, it moved up like
No,
0.5.
so that means just a half point. So
they initially thought he was
which can
playing.
be a valuable half point, but that's right. That means it was priced in that they believed he was playing. But either way, you had that and you had Tampa. Tampa wins outright. The Chiefs win by 7. So great teaser by you. Road
Great
back
weekend.
to 500. Salutations, sir. But what I was going to say is a very, very popular. Did you hear the stat, Damonza, about in the regular season how many games the Bills had gone in a row without losing by more than 6?
Yeah,
Had you
it was
heard that?
crazy, and it was like the last 2 or 3 years or something like that it's been since they've.
The Bills had played 44 games without losing by more than 6 points before that Ravens game this weekend or Sunday night, which is insanity. Now, in the middle of that is a playoff game they lost by 17, but we're talking regular season. So a very popular, the reason I'm bringing that up is they were getting 2.5. So you could tease them up to plus 8.5. And for a team that hasn't been beaten by 8, right? No. And so, but that was a super popular teaser leg. So you avoided that. So good for you there. I think the Bills are really good. My concern with Buffalo, I'm going to tell you my 3 concerns. And by the way, only having 3 concerns is less than most teams. And you guys notice I have been very, kind isn't the word, honest, as I always am, about Buffalo this year. I think that's a really good team, and I think the demise of the Bills was greatly overstated this summer. And I think, and as proven out by the year thus far, the smoke that people were giving on the Jets was baffling. The idea that the Jets, week 1, before the season kicked off, the Jets were the AFC East favorites. It was ridiculous on the Jets' end and insulting to Buffalo. But here's my 3 Bills concerns. Quickly. One is, when they play legitimate defenses, can those receivers get open? We saw those receivers be able to do enough in their first few games of the year. But you played Arizona, who's not a real defense, Jacksonville, and Miami. So 3 of the weaker defenses in the league. Baltimore's defense hadn't been great up until this point, but they're better than those teams, and you saw them struggle. So that's concern number 1. Concern number 2 for Buffalo is their own defense. Do they have the personnel to slow down legitimate passing game, or not passing games, pardon me, the opposite of that, legitimate rushing attacks in the league? Because Baltimore just ran it right down their throat. And the third one is, I still think McDermott gets tight in big spots. So with all that said, I think Buffalo is clearly a top 3 team in the conference. I think that, well, let me rephrase it. Right now, and this is not a unique opinion, I think Kansas City stands by itself, and I think Baltimore, Buffalo, and Houston are in that clear-cut next group, and then everyone else is beneath them. So, sorry, not trying to be disrespectful to Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, but I think those 3 teams. And Houston hasn't looked great to me, but CJ and Nico Collins just make play after play. So that's where I think Buffalo is. Baltimore, listen, if Derrick Henry can keep this up, they're going to be incredibly tough. I, of course, worry about a running back at that age with that wear and tear, but that guy was blazing down the sideline to open that game, had 200 yards, and that rushing attack with Lamar there is legitimately terrifying. And so, now, am I a little annoyed by the amount of people, legitimate colleagues on television, that went on TV yesterday, Damonza, and said, Baltimore, best team in the NFL. Do I think that's, do I think the best team in the NFL can be 2-2? I do, actually. Do I think the best team can be in the NFL can be 2-2 when one of the 4-0 teams beat them head to head and controlled the entirety of that game? I don't. I think, but that was a no-brainer because Buffalo-Baltimore was a standalone island night game. The winner of that game, if Buffalo got to 4-0 for sure, and if Baltimore did what they did, was going to be crowned as the team to beat, which is, of course, silly. But Baltimore's really good, and I really liked Lamar's mentality after that Cowboys game when they almost blew it at the end, and he was pissed about it. And you saw that show up in the game. This is your team. It looked like you wanted to say something.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Maybe he's just saying that the Ravens are the best team now because of the state of the Chiefs. They're in pretty rough shape now, and I guess that brings us over to. I'm gonna defer from the Ravens and go to the Chiefs because before you were saying that Kelsey, he's got 5 good games in him or whatever that he can probably put out.
I said he had 6 to 10 great games left in his body. That's what I said.
Right.
Yeah.
And now with HC Rice out, he's definitely gonna need to step it up. Because I thought you were gonna take the stance of never a doubt they're still gonna do it, but it sounds like you might be a little nervous about it. They're in bad shape, right? And you're admitting that.
Oh, I don't think they're in bad shape, but I do think that being down your starting running back and your top 2 receivers, the team has to take on a different shape. The team, you know what I mean, has to play a different style of football.
So will Kelsey have to step it up?
No, I don't. So I think Kelsey was fine. I think his demise was greatly exaggerated, but I don't want them using Kelsey as the featured receiver in September, October, or November, or honestly December. I want them to save that. So the guy who's going to have to step up is the kid, Xavier Worthy. And you saw it, by the way. They ran 3rd and 6, ice the game, mesh route to Xavier Worthy. So he's going to have to learn on the fly quickly. Mahomes obviously trusts Juju, and we'll see how the next few weeks look, and we'll see what the prognosis on Rasheed is. If Rasheed is out, then the name I would watch is Amari Cooper. The Browns are terrible. His contract is done after this year. So if you're a Chiefs fan, you're rooting for the Chiefs, and you're also sneaky rooting against the Browns. So, the Browns had a game this weekend against the Raiders they could have won, and they got it inside the 10, and shockingly, Deshaun couldn't punch it in. The Browns' next 4. Commanders, Eagles, Bengals, Ravens. You really want them to go at best 1-3 in that spot. Because if they're 2-6 headed into the trade deadline, then Amari Cooper's available. If all of a sudden somehow they're 4-4 headed into the deadline, he's not. So Amari Cooper is a name to watch. Other people have mentioned Cooper Kupp. If the Rams season kind of goes awry because of their injuries, his injury history concerns me. And DeAndre Hopkins with the Titans is another guy to look out for. Florio floated, could the Chiefs try to reunite with Tyreek Hill? I mean, I don't think Miami would do that, and it would take such massive draft capital. I don't think the Chiefs would do that, but man, oh man, would that be fun. Bring Tyreek back to try to finish off the three-peat would be a really remarkable thing. I don't think it's that realistic, but that is something I would mortgage a lot of my future draft capital in order to make that happen. All right, next topic, Damonza. We got to go fast.
All right, so last night Seattle and Detroit got into a second-half shootout, and Goff had a game. So he completed every pass, 18 for 18, and actually caught a touchdown pass. It was a dime, by the way. Are the Lions a dangerous team again, or are they still on pumpkin watch, or is Goff still on pumpkin watch?
No, so listen, the Lions have been a dangerous team, and Goff has, both things have been true. The Lions have been a dangerous team, and Goff has been on pumpkin watch. I was really impressed by Goff yesterday. Didn't have Frank Ragnow. I thought Seattle's D front would get to him. Instead, he played perfect football. So I got to give Goff credit. And when the Lions are rolling, man, they look unbelievable. When they offensively, they can just hit you with so many different things. Jamal Williams is coming in to be the player a lot of us thought he could be coming out of Alabama. When Goff has time, he just cooks. So I think there is a legitimate argument right now that the Lions are the best team in the NFC. I think that you can make a strong argument right now they have the most well-rounded roster, and that they lost to Tampa, and they didn't play. Who did they play last week that I wasn't impressed with? Oh, Arizona. You know what I mean? Last night was the first game all year. To me, the Lions have looked the way they're supposed to look. Week 1, they played a good game against the Rams, goes to overtime. Week 2, Baker and the Bucs beat them 20-16. The offense is stuck in the mud. Week 3, they escape against the Cardinals. And the reality is, prior to last night, Goff had not played well this year. Goff in Week 1 was mediocre. In Week 2, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. In Week 3, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks against the Cardinals. Last night he was perfect. So right now, this moment, if you were to tell me everyone's odds are the same, who's your number 1 draft pick in the NFC? The Lions have a fair claim to that. They do. Because the Niners are banged up. The whole NFC East is a mess except for Washington, whose defense is terrible. I do think the Lions are better than the Vikings. We'll see about the Packers. You know, my Bears haven't really taken off yet. And no one in the NFC South scares you. So, and they just beat up on Seattle, who had played really well. Go to Seattle quickly here before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you touched on it, but yeah, the Seattle fought in that game, so oh no, you didn't touch on it. But yeah, Seattle fought in that game, so it's got to be good for the fans. But their undefeated start came from 3 of the worst teams in the NFL. Do you think they belong in the same conversation as the other second, third tier teams in the NFC?
So, yeah, I mean, when we say second and third tier teams, absolutely. Like, I think that a fair reading of the NFC right now would be the Lions and the Niners here, and then Vikings, Packers, Seahawks here in the next tier, with Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles kind of in their own little group with Tampa and the Rams if they were to get healthy. That's how I would do it. So yeah, I think Seattle's got an excellent coach. Geno's underrated. The Seahawks have 3 receivers who, now that Rasheed's out, all 3 would be the number 1 receiver on the Chiefs with a bullet in DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. And so Seattle's offensive line is a question. I don't think they're a great team, but yeah, second or third. I think they're a second tier NFC team. Next.
So Jayden Daniels has been lighting it up over there in Washington. Are you cautious on him, or are you ready to give him his flowers and say he's the real deal?
Well, listen, he's been unbelievable. It's as great of his first 4 games of any rookie ever. Am I still worried that the guy's going to get broken in half? Sadly, yes. But as far as while healthy, he has been dynamic. He has put up better production than my most optimistic thoughts that Caleb Williams could put up through 4 games. And now, here is the only thing I will caution. Cliff Kingsbury teams from college and in the pros get off to these red-hot starts, and then something happens to their offenses about midway through the season, and they fall off. So I don't think they're going to continue to be the highest scoring team in the league. But if you remember, Damonza, in our preseason gambling show, I bet the Cowboys to win that division. I also put a taste on Washington to win that division at 11-1 because I just thought Philly was going to have no shot, and obviously the Giants don't. Washington's defense has been dreadful. They were better this week. But shout out to Jayden, man. Jayden is running away with Rookie of the Year. He's been, there's nothing to criticize about how Jayden Daniels has played so far. He's been playing almost perfect football. And so there is, I've got nothing to take away from him. Let's go straight to the Jets, pal.
Okay, so the loss to Bo Nix and the Broncos has got that Jets locker room very flustered. Saleh openly questioned if his team was good enough to handle Rodgers' cadence. Rodgers pushed back and said that the head coach should pull a total 180. Saleh is constantly coming out.
Hold on.
The team should pull.
Real quick, Rodgers pushed back. No. The Rodgers pushed back, and then Saleh in the press conference did pull a 180. Saleh was like, I don't know if we can do it. Rodgers was like, who do you think's in charge here? And Saleh's like, sorry, my apologies, sir. Let me clear this up. So go ahead.
Yeah, so he's constantly got to walk back on stuff that he said. He's on eggshells. This is getting really awkward. When is it going to end? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, listen, it was remarkable to me. And I'm not trying to fair. Listen, fair is fair. I am open for criticism from other media members. I won't get my feelings hurt. So I hope that other media members, even ones I like and respect, can understand I might sometimes criticize their takes, okay? I saw this tweet from Mike Greenberg after the game Sunday. In a league where the premium on coaching has never been higher, the New York Jets are a very, very badly coached football team, and that will likely be their undoing. Yeah, no shit, man. Like, you and so many others who are Jet fans in the media, how did you not see that coming? He's not a new head coach. This is his fourth year. Like, you don't get to be surprised by the fact that Robert Saleh doesn't know what he's doing. And the Jets are not a good team. They're a mediocre team. Bo Nix, Damonza, at halftime of a game he won, had 6 completions for -7 yards. That was the stat line. 6 completions, it had gone negative yards. The Jets lost. And they kept bringing up the weather. They were like, oh, the conditions, it was rainy. Like it was a monsoon. It's New York in the fall. It's good. You're going to have to deal with some rain. Rodgers wasn't good. The offensive line wasn't good. The coaching wasn't good. All offseason, I got yelled at, oh, put some respect on Breece Hall's name. He's a good player. He's not some great player. 10 carries, 4 yards. All offseason, oh, you don't think the Jets have great weapons? I don't know, man. This league has 20 awesome receivers. Garrett Wilson is somewhere in that 10 to 20 range of that. Rodgers, 79 passer rating when targeting Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying that could have been fixed at 3 days at minicamp, but maybe they needed a little more time together. They're not a good team. And when they lost in week 1, I had to listen to all these people be like, oh, it doesn't matter. They're just going to win their next 4. Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings. Well, the Titans threw a scare in you. You crushed the Patriots and then started talking about we now need to expect to dominate. Then you lose 10-9 to Bo Nix, and now the Vikings are a favorite. You are what people should have thought you were, which was a 7-win team on the low end, an 8-win team most likely, and a 9-win team on the high end. That's who you are. And talking about this team like it was ever a championship contender is just bananas to me. I'm sick of talking about the Jets. They're not interesting. I mean, they are interesting,
I think, yeah, I was
but
about
they're
to say,
not
they're a little
good.
interesting.
Yeah, they are interesting, but they're only interesting because people have so drastically overrated them. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have elite weapons. They have a good, at times great defense. That's it. It is. And so you're asking, when does it end? Well, so here's how I think the Jets next month is going to go. You play the Vikings, the Bills, and the Steelers. You'll go 1-2 in that run. And then you'll be sitting there at 3-4. You'll then crush the Patriots and think you're good again. And then you'll lose to the Texans. And you'll be 4-5 and just middling. The whole year middling. This was the most easy to see coming train down the tracks. And everyone who gets paid to do this acting just shocked. What do you mean Robert Saleh with extra time to prepare? Every time the Jets have extra time to prepare, they play worse. I think he's 3-6 in his career with extra time. No, for real. I think it's 3-6 or 2-6 in his career because they played on a Thursday. They were against the Patriots on a Thursday. Extra time for a rookie quarterback. You lose. They're not a serious organization. Quick break, right back. What's right? All right, welcome back in. What's right with Nick Wright? And hey, you looking for your next favorite tequila? Terramana is a premium small batch tequila founded by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Each bottle of Terramana is meticulously crafted from 100% fully mature agave, slow roasted in traditional brick ovens, and distilled in handmade copper pot stills. Try Terramana today in the People's Margarita, a deliciously refreshing drink made with Terramana Blanco, lime, agave nectar, and pineapple juice. Terramana is also the perfect pairing when inviting friends and family around to watch sports and celebrate big games together. For more information, visit Terramana.com and follow on social media at Terramana. Must be 21 years or older. Please enjoy responsibly. Terramana Small Batch Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume, imported by Siete Buck Spirits, White Plains, New York. All right, Damonza, let's squeeze a little hoops in here before we get to this or that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns is now a Knick and reunited with his head coach, Thibodeau. The Knicks are all the way in, and Minnesota just broke up a team that made the Western Conference Finals. A little strange. Who do you think won that trade?
Yeah. Maybe nobody. This is a weird one to me. So let's start with Minnesota's side of it. I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is really a winning player. I know he has the big numbers. I think the personality doesn't seem to really jive with Anthony Edwards. From what I hear, Chris Finch wasn't devastated about this trade. I get that. But if you're going to trade Karl-Anthony Towns, I feel like you need to get more than one first-round pick in Julius Randle. And here's what I worry about from Minnesota's perspective, Damonza. Gobert and Randle. Say what you will about Karl-Anthony Towns, great shooter. So he spaces the floor. Gobert and Randle, both clogging up the paint and kind of, not ruining, but hurting the team's spacing, to me is a real concern for Anthony Edwards. Now all of a sudden Naz Reid becomes one of the most important players in the league because of his spacing. It also felt like a drastic move coming off a Western Conference Finals appearance. So there's that piece of it. Now to the Knicks piece of it. I'm not a Julius Randle fan, obviously. He's a historically bad playoff performer. He's not a great vibes guy, it feels to me. I understand them wanting to move on from him. But I would have liked to see what this team, because once they traded for OG last year when they were healthy, they were excellent. Then Randle got hurt. They've now added Mikal Bridges. I would have kind of wanted to see what the team looks like before I make this type of move. So it's hard to criticize the Knicks too much because I like Dante, but he's a role player. Randall didn't really fit with them. Now, Brunson has amazing spacing, and you're a team that can deal with the defensive limitations of Karl Anthony Towns because you have Bridges, Anunoby, Josh Hart. You have excellent defenders. But I don't hate the move for the Knicks. It just seems a lot of shaking of the snow globe in a small period of time when you're coming off your best season and you never saw the team all the way together and you traded all that stuff for Bridges. It's really confusing for me from the Timberwolves' perspective. And it seemed like if you were going to make this move, you could have gotten more in return. That's my general feeling on it, my takeaway. On your end, as someone that wants to see the Celtics repeat, did this trade bum you out? Like, does this make you more scared of the Knicks?
No. No, I don't think Cat has never scared me, and I don't think any team is really going to scare me as far as the Celtics go. We won that finals very easily last year, and I think we're going back, and I don't think this is going to hurt our chances at all. But I do think it screws up Minnesota. It's like they had the kryptonite to the Nuggets, who are obviously a really good team.
So that's the other thing that I do wonder if this signals that the Timberwolves, I don't know about the rest of the West, but the Timberwolves at least don't look at it like, all right, we have to build a team to beat Denver.
Right.
Yeah, it might be that they're less concerned exclusively about Denver, and I do find that interesting. All right, let's quickly play this or that.
Time for this or that. So first off, we got Christian McCaffrey. He's out for a while. Brandon Ayuk seems lost. And Brock Purdy has had to carry the 49ers. And he has so far, and he's leading the NFL in passing. Brock Purdy will sink San Francisco or save San Francisco.
So I'm going to cop out and say neither. I certainly don't think he's going to sink them. Listen, Purdy's played excellent. Purdy, credit where it's due, man. He hasn't had all the Avengers. He has played really well. I also don't think him saving them is a fair portrayal of it because they still do have a great coach, excellent players on offense. The defense hasn't been great this year, but Fred Warner has been. But Purdy has more than held up his end of the bargain. And for those of us that were like, hey, what is he going to look like once you pay him and you can't afford the rest of these guys? He's played really well. He's pushing the ball downfield. Like, you gotta be fair when the evidence is out there. I've got no Brock Purdy criticism on how he's played this year. He's going to save them, but he certainly isn't going to sink them. Next.
Derrick Henry leads the NFL in rushing, and he's put together an all-time career. You hinted on TV that he might be the last Hall of Fame running back. The last Hall of Fame running back will be Derrick Henry or other. What? I'm confused. Is Christian McCaffrey not like? Is it because he's been hurt? Or?
Yeah, okay. That's McCaffrey is a Hall of Fame caliber player, but doesn't have the numbers or the, resume yet. And this season might be a lost season. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That makes sense.
But the point that, this wasn't my original thought. Someone tweeted it, and I was like, oh, that's a crazy idea. Like, is Derrick Henry going to be the last running back to make the Hall of Fame? And I don't think he's going to be the last running back to make the Hall of Fame. But I do think it's on the board that after it, unless C-Mac makes it, that after Henry makes it, we could go 10, 12 years with no running backs making it. Because guys just aren't playing. Like, they're having these awesome bursts at the beginning of their career, and then they're not the same player. As the league becomes more passing-oriented, it's going to be harder and harder for there to be a guy like Derrick Henry or Adrian Peterson or the other, legendary backs, or even guys like Curtis Martin or Frank Gore that weren't as down-to-down dominant as Peterson or Derrick Henry, but played for 15 years and accumulated all these numbers. So, yeah, I think that is on the board. Next.
All right. In 2018, Baker was the first draft pick, and Sam Darnold went third. Baker's having a career year in Tampa, and Sam Darnold has been the surprise of the season, leading Minneapolis to a 4-0 record. Better quarterback,
Did you
Baker
say Minneapolis?
Yeah, Minnesota, sorry.
Minnesota, you're fine, go ahead.
Better quarterback, Baker or Darnold?
Oh, I think it's Baker. But Darnold is having the slightly better year, but I think Baker's a better player. But more importantly, that 2018 quarterback draft class, out of nowhere, because Baker's on his fourth team, Darnold's on his fourth team. With those guys popping, you have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. That's sneaky all of a sudden becoming a great quarterback draft class. A great one. Josh Rosen, my guy, poor Josh Rosen, he failure to launch on his end. Also, by the way, Mason Rudolph, who's got some run this week. No, obviously not on the level of these other guys. But if you have four legitimate long-time starting quarterbacks, Lamar's a two-time MVP, Josh is a three-time media hype MVP, and also a great player.
I was wondering what you were going to say. Go ahead.
Baker's playing awesome and has won multiple playoff games. Darnold's one of, a quarterback of an undefeated team. And so a kind of sneaky comeback for that draft class. All right, last one.
That's nice. LeBron had some big praise for Bronny at Lakers Media Day yesterday. The GOAT said his son looked better than he did his rookie year. This is a story about basketball or fatherhood?
It's a story about fatherhood. That video I sent you, Damonza, of them sitting up there, getting interviewed, arguing with each other playfully about who stepped out of bounds, who didn't, whatever it is, was honestly one of the most touching things I've ever seen in sports. And
It's a really cool thing. Unprecedented.
It's unprecedented is literally definitively true. It's just a fact. I'm going to throw a different unword in there that's more opinion. Unfathomable previously. It was not within someone's conception that you could have in the NBA a father and son play on the same team because of just the logistics of it. Like, you need the following things to happen. You need, first of all, to have a kid pretty young. Now, I understand some people are fathers at 15, but 18-year-old father, and I think LeBron was, a 19-year-old father. That's on the lower end of, how young you can be and have a kid. First thing you need to have. Second thing you need to have, a 20-year career. Okay, well, now we have a whole NBA history sample size of 10 people. Then you also need to have the kid be a good enough player to be an NBA player. And people can say Bronny's borderline, but this, whatever, Bronny is at least, is going to be, it was a legitimate draftable late second round pick. So you needed all those things to happen. It seemed impossible. And now to see, I do think so the fatherhood story here is, I'm not being a smartass. Are you getting emotional or is your allergies bothering you?
No, my allergies are killing me. The timing is crazy, though.
The timing is crazy right now. I'm doing a podcast with you talking about fatherhood, and all of a sudden, if you're listening, you can't see. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm like, man, did I just touch a chord with Damonza? Do we need to take a break? I was so taken aback. Damonza started
I was trying so hard not to wipe it, but it just came.
I know. No, I was like, man, oh man, I thought it was touching for me. Damonza's out here crying out of nowhere. Okay, all right. I'm glad you're all right. No, so the fatherhood thing is crazy. It's really crazy, and it also speaks to why I was so annoyed with so much of the commentary having such a negative slant on this last year. This is one of the coolest stories in sports history. You have a guy who, I'm not trying to have the GOAT debate, but is in the argument, is the debate for greatest ever in his sport, and is in the debate for greatest athlete ever. He's in that. If you're like, hey, get me a room of the greatest athletes to ever live to have an argument, he's in that room. If you say, hey, I want to know who the greatest basketball player to ever live is, there's only 3 people in that room for that argument. This guy is there, and he's playing with his son on the most famous team in the history of the sport. So that's like, that's the fatherhood crazy, piece of it. The basketball piece of it is this. Man, I do wonder what the Olympics and now playing with Bronny is going to have done for LeBron's motivation. Because there is a level of literally done everything. Like, I've been on better teams than this. I've been on worse teams than this. I've won championships. I've done that. I've scored more points than anyone. I have every single youngest to ever do anything record. I own it. Every single oldest to ever do anything record. I own those too. So it would, unless the Lakers were going to be awesome, which they're not, there was a real reason to think LeBron, would kind of go into this year I guess. But it doesn't seem like that. Seems like he is juiced from the Olympic high and now playing with Bronny. So I think basketball and fatherhood, it's an unbelievable story. Quick break, right back. Answer some of your questions next. What's right? Damonza can get some tissues. All right, welcome back in. What's right with Nick Wright? Before we get to the listener questions, I got to tell you guys something. My friends at Brooks sent me the new Glycerin Max shoes. These shoes are new, first of their kind for Brooks. Let me tell you, they're amazing. You guys know I'm trying to train for a triathlon. These have been a huge part of it. They're so comfortable, stylish, leave my legs feeling fresh after a long run. These shoes feature DNA tuned, which integrates 2 types of nitrogen-infused cushioning into one seamlessly tuned midsole. Plus, a glide roll rocker helps make each step feel effortless. Elevate your running journey as you land with maximum softness and spring forward with ultimate ease with the new Glycerin Max. I love feeling like I can run forever in these shoes. Again, for the triathlon, I got to run 6 miles, so I'm kind of ramping up to that. I have a time in my head that I'm trying to get to. I'll keep that to myself for now. But these shoes have been on my feet for every one of my training runs. Head over to brooksrunning.com to learn more. All right, Damonza, let's get to some listener questions quickly before we get out of here. Go ahead.
Cutlass asks, if the Chiefs win it all this year, is this year as impressive as LeBron win with the 2016 Cavs?
Well, those cross-sport comparisons are kind of tough. LeBron's win with the 2016 Cavs, the championship in and of itself wasn't historic. The 3-1 comeback in the finals against the 73-win team was what was historic. So it was really that week of basketball is unprecedented across, sports. But it wasn't a start to finish 8-month journey the way because everyone knew the Cavs were going to be in the playoffs. You kind of knew the Cavs were going to be in the finals. It was just a very different thing than what this Chiefs team's trying to do next.
Brandon Swayze asks, would the Ravens acquiring a true wide receiver 1 at the deadline, Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp, for example, make them Super Bowl favorites?
I mean, I think they need help at the wide receiver spot. I don't know if it'd be enough for me to make them Super Bowl favorites. The question is, will that take them out of what they want to do, which is be the smash mouth running team? They could have targeted a wide receiver this offseason. Instead, they went out and got Derrick Henry. I have always thought Zay Flowers is a nice player, but a little overrated by some. And so I don't think they have a true number 1. I think that's very clear. I think Zay Flowers is
right there. If any.
For Zay Flowers?
That was 100%. I don't think Zay Flowers is overrated.
On that bulletin board is him getting the ball punched out at the 1-yard line in the AFC Championship game.
Rookie. That guy's a rookie. Give me a break.
I think he's a nice player. I think there are right now, I'm not going to take the time to do it. Right now, I think I could do it pretty easily. I think there's 40 receivers better than him. So, like...
40. Jeez, 40s. Yeah, I wasn't thinking 40. I mean,
okay,
maybe.
Let's just... Hold on. Let's just... Again, I'm not sure I'm going to do this whole thing, Damonza. You count it off for me. I'm going to name names, okay? The Bills have none of them. Garrett Wilson for sure. The Patriots have none of them. In Miami, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle for sure. In Pittsburgh, George Pickens. Baltimore's done. In Cleveland, Amari Cooper. Cincinnati has 2 of them. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. We're at 7. Houston, Nico Collins without a doubt. And I'm going to include Stephon Diggs. He's borderline, but Stephon Diggs, we're at 9. Tennessee... Does Tennessee have Ridley now? Who does Ridley play for? Whoever Ridley play for, he's on there. We're at 10. Jacksonville, I'm not going to put Brian Thomas Jr. there yet. I'm not going to put Gabe Davis or Christian Kirk, so we're still at 10. Kansas City, Rashee Rice is better than him. The Chargers have none of them. Devontae Adams is better than him. All right, we're at 12, and we're done with the AFC. So maybe I've overstated it. We'll see. Washington, Terry McLaurin. Dallas, CeeDee Lamb. The Eagles have 2. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, we're at 16. The Giants, Malik Neighbors, no question about it, we're at 17. Minnesota, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, we're at 19. Detroit, Amon-Ra St. Brown, we're at 20. I won't put Jamo Williams there, but I kind of want to. Green Bay, pick your favorite of their receivers. They've got 3 guys in the argument. We'll just put one of them there. I would say Reed, we're at 21. Chicago, DJ Moore without question. I think Odunze's better, but we won't put him in there. But Keenan Allen, we will. We're at 23. Tampa Bay, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, we're at 25. Atlanta, I'd like to put Drake London there, but I can't. He hasn't proven it, so we'll stay there. New Orleans. Who's New Orleans' big number 1 guy?
It's
Chris Olave, we're at 26. Yeah. Carolina's got nobody. Seattle has 3 players. Lockett, DK Metcalf, JSN, we're at 29. San Francisco, Ayuk, we're at 30. Debo, we're at 31. And I'm looking at you, Juwan Jennings. I won't put you there yet, but I'm looking at you. Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr., the Rams, Kupp, and Nakua. 34. Off the top of my head. 34. I mean, it wasn't off my head. I just went down the rosters. So that's my point. That's all I'm saying. He's a nice player. And a little overrated. Definitely not top 30. And I'm sure I left some people out.
You threw some people in there that you said no question that I definitely got some questions on, but it's all right.
Give me a name.
I get it.
Give me a name.
All right, Rashee Rice, he's great. He's amazing. I think him and Zay Flowers have similar skill sets. I don't think he's head and shoulders that much better than Zay Flowers. If he is, it's just like a little bit.
All right. I disagree with you, but take Rashee Rice out. Now at 33, 32-team league.
Yeah. No, there's a lot more receivers in the league than I was anticipating as well.
That's the thing. So that is the actual story. And by the way, oh my goodness, I forgot Michael Pittman. I didn't say Michael Pittman's on there for the Colts. I knew I forgot some guys, but it doesn't matter. A
lot of dogs in there.
When there are more legitimate receivers in the league right now than any time before. More than any time before. All right, do we have any more questions before I got to go?
We got Jordan Chalk says, what are the main concerns you have with the Vikings that hold them back from being the best team of the NFC?
That Sam Darnold's their quarterback. He's played really well. I don't believe that is long-term sustainable. That's all. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it will be a Rich Gannon-esque success story. We'll see, but maybe I'll be wrong. All right, one more question. Pick your favorite one.
Andrew Murray.
I can't see him.
Damonza in LA team. 2 tickets to any USC football home game in my family suite. Name and date. All right, Andrew Murray. That sounds pretty cool. Thanks, dude.
Wow, you got to follow up on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how to go about it. If you want to leave like your Instagram or Twitter in the chat or something, I will definitely follow up on that. I will take you up on that.
That's awesome. Also, if his family has a suite at USC, man, it might have some nice LA connections. That could be a good family to get to know. I mean, I know Blue Ducks got, a multiple suites at USC with Gabe's Media Empire, but you only get invited to that like once a year. This would be awesome. That's sweet.
Murray. Yeah,
all
dude.
right,
I'll definitely hit you up. Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, you should hit him up on that. Listen, I made a great friend off this. Went to that Celtics finals game off a similar thing. Listen, here's one thing about the What's Right podcast. We might send presents to your wedding, and if you offer us free awesome sporting event tickets, we'll take you up on it. We're not too proud to be like, oh no, we're not going to do that. No. Free awesome sporting event tickets, we'll take you up on it. All right, I'll see you guys Thursday. I'm on with Colin in about an hour and a half. TV show at 3. Go Royals. What's right? Hey, thanks for watching. If you're still here, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes. After you've done that, one more favor, go to your favorite audio platform of choice and subscribe there as well. Don't forget, we're live every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern-ish, 10:35, 10:40, it sometimes changes, but that's why you hit the bell. You hit the bell so you're notified. You subscribe so we can get to 200,000 followers. We're right around 150,000. We'd love to get to 200,000, get Damonza another plaque. So like, subscribe, rate, send a rating too. Do all that cool stuff. Thanks, guys.